You'll never get rich if you think like this. And no, I'm not talking about buying Starbucks again or skipping avocado toast. I'm talking about the one invisible belief that's secretly keeping you broke. It's not the economy. It's not your boss. It's not even your lack of savings. It's the way you think about money. And trust me, if you don't change this, you could work until you're 90 years old and still wonder why you're broke. So here's the deal. By the end of this video, I'm going to expose the exact toxic money mindsets that are holding you back from building real wealth. And I promise, once you hear these, you'll never see money the same way again. Let's get into it. Point number 1, the employee-only mindset. All right, now here's the first one. Thinking that the only way to make money is to work for someone else. Because let's be real, school trained us for this. Get good grades, get a good job, retire at 65, and hope the government remembers your name. That's the script. But here's the truth. If your entire financial future depends on one paycheck, you're not free. You're just on a leash. A nice leash, maybe with dental benefits, but still a leash. It's like playing Monopoly but only collecting $200 every time you pass go. Meanwhile, the people who actually win the game, they own the board. They've got hotels on Park Place while you're celebrating a tiny greenhouse on Baltic Avenue. Rich people don't just think in terms of jobs, they think in terms of ownership, businesses, investments, assets that work harder than they do. If you're trapped in the employee-only mindset, you'll never escape the hamster wheel. You've got to ask yourself, am I building something that pays me, or am I just showing up for a paycheck? And that leads us straight into the second toxic belief. Because even if you figure out the whole employee trap, most people still fall into this one. And trust me, it's the silent killer of wealth. Point number 2, thinking more money equals more spending power. This is the most critical one you should always understand. And this point in particular is something I need to discuss with you seriously, because here's the silent killer. Believing that every raise or bonus means you can finally upgrade your lifestyle. That's the exact trap that keeps the middle class. It's like you get a $5,000 raise and suddenly the car dealership feels like Disneyland. You're financing the leather seats, the heated steering wheel, and the monthly payment that conveniently eats the whole raise. Congrats, you just gave your boss's gift right back to the bank. It's like pouring water into a bucket with holes at the bottom. Sure, more water goes in, but it all leaks out because you refuse to patch the bucket. And those holes, they're your subscriptions, your car payments, your Amazon binge at 2 a.m. Here's the mindset shift. Rich people don't see raises as an excuse to spend more. They see them as an opportunity to buy more freedom. Every extra dollar is either an employee for you or a luxury for the dealership. Which one are you choosing? And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear the next one. Because this isn't just about how you spend money, it's about how you see money. And most people see it completely wrong. Point number 3, believing money is evil. Yep, let's tackle the classic. How many times have you heard money is the root of all evil? Parents, teachers, broke philosophers, they've been chanting it for centuries. And here's the wild part. People actually believe it. But let me ask you, if money is evil, why are you working 40 hours a week chasing it? Shouldn't you run the other way? Saying money is evil is like saying oxygen is evil, because some people choke on it. Money isn't good or bad. It's a tool. And like any tool, it depends on the person holding it. A hammer can build a house or smash a window. Money can fund a hospital or buy a jet made of solid gold. The tool isn't the problem, it's the operator. I knew someone who grew up believing money was greedy, corrupt, dirty. Guess what? They sabotaged every chance they had to earn more, turned down promotions, avoided investments, lived paycheck to paycheck, and all because their brain was wired to think more money equals bad person. Meanwhile, the people who actually had money, they were donating to charities, funding startups, helping their families thrive. Tell me again, who's the greedy one? Rich people don't see money as evil. They see it as a magnifier. If you're generous, money makes you more generous. If you're selfish, money makes you more selfish. But either way, money gives you options. And last I checked, having options isn't evil. Being stuck with none, that feels a lot more like hell. Now here's where it gets even scarier. Because even if you fix your beliefs about jobs, lifestyle creep, and money being evil, there's still one mindset that quietly ruins more bank accounts than anything else. And you probably said this phrase at least once this month. Point number 4, saying, I'll start later. Basically, this is the phrase that destroys more wealth than a stock market crash. I'll start later. Later, I'll save. Later, I'll invest. Later, I'll budget. Later, I'll build that side hustle. You know what later really means? Never. Later is a nice little bedtime story we tell ourselves to feel better about being lazy today. It's financial procrastination dressed in polite language. It's like saying you'll start working out after you're already in shape, or that you'll start swimming lessons once you magically know how not to drown. Makes no sense, right? But that's exactly how people treat money. Look, I know countless people who constantly say, I'll start investing when I'm making more money. Fast forward a decade. They're making more money, sure, but their expenses exploded too. Bigger house, nicer car, 3 streaming services for shows you don't even watch. Suddenly, there's still no extra money to invest. Meanwhile, If they had just started with $100 a month back in the day, compound interest would have already doubled their net worth. But nope, they waited for later. Spoiler alert, later never came. And I'll be completely honest, there's no perfect time to start. The only perfect time was yesterday. The second best time, right now. Every day you wait is money you're losing, silently, invisibly, and forever. And speaking of waiting, let's talk about the flip side of that. Because some people don't just wait, they flat out refuse to take any risk at all, and that's just as dangerous. Point number 5, playing it too safe. You'll never get rich if you treat your money like a museum artifact. Locked away, untouched, gathering dust. Some people cling to every dollar so tightly you'd think they were holding a newborn baby over a cliff. They never invest, never take risks, never try anything new. And you know what happens? Inflation quietly eats their savings like termites in the walls. They think they're being safe, but really, their money is dying a slow death. Imagine you're on a sinking ship, and instead of grabbing a lifeboat, you decide to just hold your breath longer. That's what hoarding cash looks like in a world where inflation is 3%, 5%, or even higher some years. You're sinking and pretending it's safe because you're standing still. I know a guy who bragged about never touching the stock market because it's too risky. He kept all his money in a savings account for 20 years. Guess what? His $50,000 is worth about $30,000 in real-world buying power today. He didn't lose money by investing. He lost it by being too scared to invest. And here's the difference. The wealthy understand risk differently. They know risk isn't something to avoid, it's something to manage. Risk is how you grow. Play too safe and you guarantee poverty. Play smart and you give yourself a shot at freedom. Now this next mindset, it's sneaky because it disguises itself as optimism. But if you've ever thought I'll get lucky someday, you're already trapped. Point number 6, counting on luck. Here's a dangerous mindset, believing that one lucky break is going to save you. I'll win the lottery. I'll marry rich. I'll get discovered on TikTok. Listen, hope is not a wealth strategy. If luck is your retirement plan, you might as well start practicing cardboard box interior design because that's where you're headed. Counting on luck to get rich is like standing in the rain and waiting for lightning to strike. Except instead of superpowers, you just get fried. I know a guy who spent years buying lottery tickets, convinced that was his ticket to freedom. He literally spent thousands on scratch-offs. Money that, if he had invested, could have actually grown into 6 figures. Instead, he's got a drawer full of losing tickets and zero financial cushion. His wealth strategy was basically gambling dressed up as optimism. Here's the truth. Rich people create their own luck. They put themselves in positions where opportunities come knocking because they were prepared. And when the opportunity shows up, they're ready to cash in. Don't wait for lightning to strike. Build a lightning rod. And speaking of waiting for magic, this next mindset is even worse. Because while some people are hoping to get lucky, others are just sitting around waiting for permission to start. Point number 7, waiting for the perfect conditions. You know the type. I'll start investing when the market is calm. I'll launch my side hustle when life slows down. I'll save when I'm making more money. Newsflash, life never slows down. The market is never perfectly calm, and you're never magically going to feel ready. Waiting for perfect conditions is like waiting for a unicorn to pick you up for work. Spoiler alert, it's not coming. It's like someone standing on the shore with a surfboard saying, "I'll paddle out when the waves stop." Buddy, if the waves stop, there's nothing to ride. The wealthy don't wait for perfect conditions. They move when things are messy. Because here's the secret. Progress beats perfection every single time. Perfection is procrastination wearing a fancy suit. And if you think waiting for perfect conditions is bad, wait until you hear this next one. Because this mindset doesn't just keep you broke. It keeps you stuck, working hard for absolutely nothing. Point number 8, believing hard work alone will make you rich. This one hurts because it sounds noble, it sounds inspiring, but it's a straight up trap. The idea that if I just work hard enough, I'll get rich. Nope. If that were true, construction workers, nurses, and teachers would be the wealthiest people on the planet. They work insanely hard, but they're not rich. Because wealth isn't built on sweat alone. It's built on strategy. Hard work without smart money moves is like running on a treadmill at full speed. Sure, you're sweating buckets, but you're still in the same spot. I met a guy who worked double shifts for years, literally killing himself at work. And yes, he made more money than most people in his field. But you know what? He spent it just as fast. No investments, no plan, no ownership. The guy thought he could outwork bad money habits. Spoiler, he couldn't. Today he's still grinding, still exhausted, and still broke. Hard work matters, but only if your money is working harder than you are. The wealthy know this. Your brain makes you rich, not just your back. And that brings us to the mindset that quietly kills even the smartest people. Because what's the point of working hard if you're also secretly doing this next thing? Point number 9, comparing yourself to others. Let me tell you, comparison is the thief of wealth. Thinking, well, my friends all drive Teslas, so I should too. That's how you end up broke in a shiny car. Keeping up with the Joneses is why the Joneses are broke too. It's a hamster wheel of financial stupidity. It's like running a race while staring at the guy in the next lane. Guess what? You trip. You fall. And he probably wasn't even running that fast to begin with. I had a neighbor who lived in a massive house, drove a luxury SUV, and looked like he was rolling in money. Everyone envied him. Until foreclosure. Turns out it was all financed. All debt. Meanwhile, the quiet guy down the street with the old Toyota and modest house, he was sitting on 7 figures in investments. Wealth isn't what you see. It's what you don't see. And comparison makes you chase the illusion instead of the reality. Rich people don't play the comparison game. They know true wealth is freedom, not flex. The moment you stop measuring yourself against everyone else is the moment your bank account starts breathing again. And now we've arrived at the deadliest mindset of all. The one that guarantees you'll stay broke forever if you don't fix it. Ready? Let's hit the finale. Point number 10. Thinking small. Seriously, this is it. The mindset that guarantees you'll never get rich. Thinking small. I just want to pay my bills. I just need a little extra. I just hope I can get by. Listen carefully. If your goal is survival, that's all you'll ever get. Survival. But wealth? Wealth doesn't come from scraping by. It comes from thinking bigger. Way bigger. It's like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet and only grabbing one bread roll because that's enough. Meanwhile, everyone else is stacking plates and you're sitting there with dry carbs and regret. The wealthy don't ask, how can I just get by? They ask, how can I multiply? How can I scale? How can I build something that outlives me? If you want to break free, stop aiming for crumbs and start aiming for the whole table. So, let's put all of this together. Because if you've caught yourself in any of these money traps, you need to know exactly where to start flipping the switch. Each one of these is a mental trap. And here's the truth. The rich don't think this way. They rewire their mindset. And that's what creates wealth, not luck, not magic, not waiting for the perfect moment. It's the way they think. So if you want to build real wealth, it starts here, in your mind. Because money follows mindset. And once you kill these toxic beliefs, you give yourself permission to play the game differently. Drop a comment below with the phrase, "No broke habit."